Well, what an amazing weekend. What an amazing Sunday. Just some images there from what was a fabulous day yesterday at Hampden Park for all of those involved with Glasgow Rangers, whether you are a player, whether you're a fan, whether you are a manager, a coach, whoever you are. It was an incredible day yesterday, a day that will I think, hopefully be a turning point for our club. Well, welcome along to Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. Thank you for your phenomenal support over the last few days. We've had a phenomenal few days here on the channel, thanks to your amazing support. And as you know, this channel is very special to me. It is my, it is my focus. It is my, it's what I love to do. I love to talk Rangers. I love to talk to you about Rangers. I love the lives we do. I love everything we do. And we've got obviously more lives coming up this week. Tuesday night, we've got a podcast. We're going to look back, obviously, at the final and obviously look forward to the St Johnstone game with the lovely Laura Hatton, who was on last week. Laura's obviously massive on TikTok, huge Rangers fan from Wishaw, a good Rangers girl. Obviously, Wednesday night as well, we'll be bringing you the live stream of the St Johnstone game as we seek to win that first game in hand and really shut that gap on that lot from across the city. More of that to come, guys. I promise you a little bit of look ahead to the league. But it would be remiss of me not to start with yesterday's performance by Rangers. Look, I think what I said has been taken slightly out of context. I said it wasn't a great game. It wasn't, but I don't care. You know what? Finals are not about outstanding moments of football. Finals are not about playing the greatest game you've ever played in your entire life. Finals are solely about winning football matches. That's what finals are about. They are about collecting trophies. And you know what? That's what our club is about. Our club is all about collecting trophies. And yesterday we won we finally got that third trophy we hadn't got yet since we came back up of those dark days of 2012. And this is not the end. This is not the end. And this is not the. I was a bit. I don't know, the commentator saying they now complete the collection. For me, it's not completing the collection at all. It is merely starting a collection. It is merely beginning again. It is merely becoming what we always were. You know, we are, and I'm arrogant in saying this, and I know because I'm a Rangers fan, that's why I'm saying this, but we are the greatest club in football. We are the greatest club in Scotland, and that's what we do. We win trophies, we collect trophies, and today has to be part of that new beginning. That new start for the club getting back to what we used to be, what we always have been, which is a trophy winning machine. You know, this club it is everything, isn't it? It is everything to if you're a Rangers fan, and you know, you guys know what I'm talking about here. It gets under your skin. It is everything to you. It is part of your life. It is part of your family. It's almost up there with your family, isn't it? In terms of importance, in terms of what goes on in your life. And you know, for every loss, you feel it like a pain through the heart, and for every win you feel massive elation. Yesterday obviously was an example of that massive elation. I mean, looking at the game yesterday, first half wasn't fantastic, was it? It was very much a classic final type game. Obviously an early chance for Seema, the McCausland goal that was ruled out after Seema led with his arm. To be fair, the whistle had gone, hadn't it, when McCausland put the ball in the back of the net. But, you know, Rangers, I think, had created some chances. You know, they'd probably been on balance the better team. Aberdeen had tried. Aberdeen, you know, they really did lack a cutting edge. They had that long shot from distance that Butland easily saved. They didn't have a great deal of opportunities. They never really cut Rangers open or called upon Jack Butland to really pull off any amazing saves at all yesterday, did they? So it was, you know, a quality performance by the boys yesterday. Jack was outstanding again. You know, Jack, the punch at the end, they're coming to claim the ball, end up in that fight again, absolutely outstanding. Second half, again, it started off a little bit just a bitty. And at times, I think both teams kind of lacked a little bit of quality in the final third. They lacked that final ball. That I think the best analysis I heard was someone saying there was nobody really who took charge of the game, who kind of put his foot on the ball and said, right, this is my game. I'm going to dominate that game. I suppose that was something we hoped that Todd Cantwell could have done yesterday. And although Todd did do well yesterday, he didn't have one of his better games. But overall, you know, what was more encouraging was rather than, you know, playing swashbuckling, attacking football, it was the caliber of that performance, the change in the mindset, the way the boys applied themselves yesterday. The fight was there, the battle was there, the never giving up, the never say die attitude, you know, that has not been there in the past in those big games. You know, you can look back at big games under Michael Beale, for example, and too many players gave up, too many players hid, too many players, You could question their bottle, you could question their mentality. And you look at obviously as well, and the Gio as well near the end, there was a lot of that as well. But Phillipe Clement seems to be changing that. And look, I got slaughtered by someone yesterday for saying that, well, is it, it's about time you actually back the players rather than slag them off. Well, what I was actually saying, what I say to him is this: what I don't like is players that don't try. What I don't like is players that don't deliver in big games for our club. And I think we can all see that for a long time they didn't do that. They weren't doing that. We've got to look at last season, the semi-final loss, the cup final loss, the old firm games where something was on the line, we lost. The times in the Gio that we lost. Players gave up a little bit, went into hiding, and Phillipe Clement was right with what he said in his press conference on Saturday when he talked about the fact that this was a moment to change perceptions. And I think that's what Sunday did. It changed perceptions of players, as a number of players really did stand up to be counted, really did stand up to battle and fight. And, you've only got to look, I think, at the intensity and the emotion at the end of the game that you saw from the likes of James Tavernier and from Connor Goldson and from Jack Butland to show that there's a real desire to want to take this on to the next level, to want to take this on to the next stage. And yet again, look, he gets criticised for his defensive skills, and then, like I said, today is not the time to talk about defence. But James Tavernier again comes up big time, gets that goal. I don't think anyone's called into question James's ability to stand up and get goals at key times, or James's ability to handle pressure at key times. No one has ever question that. And look, James Tavernier is probably one of the most criticised, most heavily scrutinised footballers in Scotland. I don't think there's any player on this side of the city or the other side of the city or anywhere in the Scottish game that gets the analysis or gets the criticism or gets the microscope put onto them with such intensity as James Tavernier does. And yesterday, yet again, he comes up big time. A great cross by Borna Barisic, again, someone who has been maligned this season, by myself included, and I admit that. And, overall, Borna wasn't great yesterday, but that cross came at the right moment. We know that's what Borna can do. We know that's what Borna can deliver. A fabulous ball into the box and a brilliant finish by James Tavernier, getting over the ball, smashing it into the ground to score that goal. Yes, there had been other chances in that second half, the McCausland chance, for example, but that was really the crowning thing. And what was more encouraging at the end of the game was the way they stuck together, the way they battled and fought and kept it going till the very end of that game. There was, for me, yes, I felt nervous. Yes, I felt sick. Yes, I was on edge. Of course I am, because I remember games of old. But to me, there now seems to be a steel within this team, something that this man has really installed into this club, a real mindset change. That's what he's called for. And he's talked a lot, hasn't he, about the togetherness in the dressing room and the fact that players are, ready to fight for each other, which was another one that came out yesterday an awful lot. So, overall, I'm enjoying this fact that he is putting right the wrongs of the past. He is, yes, getting the tactical side of the game. Yes, he is setting the team up to be successful. Yes, he is improving a lot of the play on the field. But one of the things that we always kind of identified as being a weakness of this Rangers squad was the mentality, was the pressure moments. When the pressure came on, that they disappeared. Phillipe Clement has changed that for me and has really reset that within the club. And I think the longer he is here, the longer he gets the chance to do that, the better for the club. Now, I'm not saying that we don't need to obviously revamp the squad. Yes, there are still a need to bring in players. Yes, there is still a need to sign players. Yes, there is still a need to ship some players out. Of course there is, because if you look at his past record, he's not a manager who likes to allow teams to rest on their laurels or stay the same for too long. He is a manager who likes to constantly refresh his squad. And that is the best way. If you don't refresh your squad constantly, you get a staleness, a complacency that can easily creep in. So that is a very encouraging thing. And yes, obviously in January, we do need to strengthen in certain positions. I want to pick up another couple of things from yesterday's game. I want to pick up on Dujon Sterling. I thought Dujon was absolutely outstanding yesterday. I thought he never stopped running in the midfield. He battled, he fought for every ball, he tackled, he got forward. I was really impressed with the way that boy played. He did exceptionally well yesterday. And, it really seems that in Dujon Sterling, we found that modern hybrid of a footballer. You know, you look at footballers these days and they're more what we call hybrids, aren't they? They can play a number of different positions, and Dujon can play centre back, he can play right back, he can play left back. In our plays, he can play central midfield, holding central midfield role. And I thought, like I said, that he did exceptionally well yesterday in that game. He played very, very well indeed. Another person who I'm really impressed with recently, and someone I've, yes, criticised, but I want to pick up on him again today, was John Lundstrom. I thought John Lundstrom was absolutely brilliant yesterday, and the manager had some very interesting words to say about Lunny after the game. We'll get to that shortly. But he talked, you know, John Lundstrom yesterday, again, was another one who never stopped running. He never stopped wanting the ball. He never stopped battling for the ball. And despite that booking, which was an utter joke that he got in the first half, you know, he didn't stop tracking back, putting those tackles in, putting himself about. He's not afraid. He's not afraid to get stuck in. And for me, Lunny went out there yesterday and really proved to a lot of people what an important asset he is to this squad and what an important asset he is to the manager. And Phillipe Clement mentioned him. You know, I was listening to the interview that he gave after the game to Viaplay Sports, and when he was being asked questions by the pundits and by Scotty Arfield, I think, asked him about John Lundstrom. And, you know, it was very telling that Phillipe talked about the influentialness of Lundstrom, the fact that he is a leader on the pitch, he is a leader off the pitch. He is like a right hand, was his exact words. And, you know, how impressed he'd been with John Lundstrom. And I think we have obviously seen Phillipe being exceptionally impressed with John Lundstrom, given the fact that, you know, John has played pretty much every minute of most games for Phillipe since Phillipe has come in. He has been, you know, I think probably one of the most improved players under Phillipe Clement. Clement has had a very positive impact on John Lundstrom. Now, I know certain fans have perhaps put this down to the fact that he's playing for a new contract, and there's always that cynic, I think, that says that. But I think overall, if you listen to John Lundstrom being interviewed and you listen to him talking about the manager and talking about the way he plays now, I think personally it is not that at all. It is a genuine desire to want to do the best, to want to be the best he can be on that field and be a leader for the club. I think he genuinely loves the club. I think he genuinely wants to stay here. And it was interesting what Phillipe Clement said about the contract situation. He said that was for the next few weeks, next few months. But he said that he had spoken to John already about it. And he said he knew. And it was very interesting in the fact that Phillipe Clement said that John knows what I feel and I know what he feels. So obviously there are some early discussions in place there, and there is a understanding between Lundstrom and Clement already about what the intention is. I think it is just very much about putting those final dots on the I's and crosses on the T's. You know, that does he get the new contract, or is it a case of it's time to move him on? Personally, I would like to see him kept on. I think give him a 2-year contract. I think that's more than adequate for a player of his age. I think that is certainly something we could do. And then if in 12 months he's not impressing, if he has gone backwards, then you can sell him because you've still got him under contract. Look, that is the situation. He has done exceptionally well. He has been one of our best players, I honestly think, over the last few weeks. And when you hear the manager post-game talking in such glowing terms about him, you can only kind of surmise that the manager wants him kept at this club. And he's certainly, you know, in terms of injuries as well, he has a fairly decent record over the last sort of, I mean, yes, he was out for a period of time last season, but it seems since then he has, you know, been pretty much an ever-present and always available. And we often say, don't we, the best ability is your availability. And he is certainly someone who is available. And in recent games, in the 19 games that Phillipe Clement has been here, has not let him down at all. So, you know, John Lundstrom, Super John Lundstrom, is he worth a new contract? Let me know in the comments down below. Look, let's just finish off by talking about that. Now, that is done now, you know, and the scenes at Edmiston House tonight were absolutely amazing, you know, absolutely amazing. I've even changed the home screen on my phone because I found the picture that I absolutely loved and adored from the celebrations tonight. And there it is, Phillipe Clement walking with the trophy. I absolutely love that picture. You know, I love that guy. He's just a different class in terms of manager. And the way he talked again after the game was so telling. The fact that, yes, he's super proud of the boys. Yes, he's super proud of the achievement. And that's great for him to hear. Yes, he's really impressed. But again, straight away, it's the focus is we move on. We try to win every game. We go game to game. We take each game as it comes. We work week to week. And it's all about not settling for this one thing. And I think the analogy is, you know, we talked at the start of the week about this being such an important week for Rangers, with the Dundee game last Saturday, to the Thursday night against Betis, to the Sunday against Aberdeen in the Cup. And to come away with 3 victories was what we all hoped and dreamed would happen this week. And it's happened. But I think it's fair to say that we have lost nothing this week. We have won the battles, but we have not yet won the war. And if that's not an insensitive term to use at the moment, you know, it has been 3 battles. It has been 3 battles that we have undertaken this week, and we have won 3 battles. We now need to go on and win the war that we are at in terms of the Scottish Cup and in terms of the league. Now, obviously, that lot from across the city slipped up on Saturday. A fabulous result by Hearts. All credit to Hearts. A brilliant performance by all accounts. A really top-notch performance. And Lawrence Shankland in particular, really impressing. Is he a valid option in January for Rangers? It leaves the league in such an interesting position. You know, I mean, let's obviously look at that league and let's obviously we've got to concentrate on the top 2 because, you know, there is nothing between. I mean, Hearts are 11 points behind us. So you look at the top 2 there. Rangers have played 16, 37 points. Celtic 18 games, 42 points. So the gap is there. It's 5 points. You know, that St Johnstone game, St Johnstone are currently 8th in the league. You know, a game that we should be winning, a game that if we play to our potential on Wednesday night, we can easily put St Johnstone to the sword. A game that if we win, we go to 40 points with a game in hand, only 2 points behind them. That gives us another game. Now, I don't want to talk about that because I don't want to count the chickens because we know what happens when we count chickens. It goes, they come home to roost and it all goes hideously wrong. We go a game at a time and our focus needs to be solely on that game on Wednesday night against St Johnstone. We go there, we raise ourselves again, we go again. And I honestly think that this group of players, you know, this group of players have that focus. You know, it would have been so easy after Thursday night, after that amazing achievement in Seville, against Real Betis, to kind of this to be a bit after the Lord Mayor's show, to be a little bit, you know, of a come down. You know, Phillipe talked, didn't he, in his press conference about the fact that, you know, his Bruges team went to Milan and got a result in Milan, but then slipped up to one of the smallest teams in Belgium. You know, and we theoretically are facing a similar situation again on Wednesday night where we have won a cup final and we go to one of the smaller teams in Scotland. No offence to St Johnstone, but they are one of the smaller teams in Scotland. And Phillipe has to have this team bang up for it and ready to go again. And I think if I listen to what the players have said after the game and if I interpret right what Ross McCaws and Connor Goldson, Cyril Dessers, Abdallah Sima, Jack Butland, they all said, and Jack, for me, was one of the most powerful. He said, this is the first trophy. The emphasis has been on the first, meaning that there's more trophies. To me, and Todd Cantwell came out and said, people will only remember you for trophies. To me, there seems a desire now, an intensity within this squad, not to settle for, well, that's it. We've done it now. We went to Seville. We've topped the Europa League. We won a game that no one said we're going to win. We won the League Cup. We've got the League. Since we've come back, we've won the League Cup, Scottish Cup and Scottish League. Therefore, it's all done and dusted. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think there is a real determination within this squad, within these players, to go on and take this on. And that starts Wednesday night against St Johnstone. And that carries on then on Sunday against Motherwell. And it carries on after that. We need to continue to build. And then obviously going into that game on the 30th at Sharkhead against that lot from across the city, it is obviously going to be a must-win game. A game that if we win that, we could go. And again, I know this is counting your chickens again. You could go up to, you know, 4 points clear of them. And then they're the ones chasing. They're the ones having to come after us. They're the ones having to win every week, having to worry about, you know, slipping up, losing points. And that's what we need to do. We need to transfer the pressure even more onto them than it is currently, because they've proved this year they are not Ange Postecoglou's Celtic. They cannot handle pressure. They are not the same team. They lacked passion. They lacked intensity. They lacked heart on Saturday against Hearts. And heart against Hearts, forgive it. But that is what we have done. And that's what we need to do. And that's what we need to continue to do. It's a game at a time. It's a week at a time. It's a month at a time. It's a marathon, not a sprint, as Phillipe Clement said. I, for one, look, yesterday was phenomenal, guys. I feel just absolutely elated inside. I am absolutely buzzing inside with emotion after that game. To know that we've won, to know that we've now got a trophy. And I really genuinely, and call me stupid for this if you want, but I genuinely feel an optimism, a real positivity going forward about this team, about this squad, about this manager. It really, for me, is starting to turn and starting to move in the right direction. We are the people. We will get back to where we belong, back at the top of the Scottish game. Guys, thank you so much for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening, depending on when you've picked up this video. Please smash the like. Please, obviously, subscribe to the channel. We're over 4K subs now. Phenomenal phenomenal. Thank you so much. Guys, look, I know I say this, and I don't know whether you believe what I believe this, but you genuinely do not know what this means. It does mean absolutely everything to me. It means the world to me. It really does. And thank you for your support from the bottom of my heart. It does genuinely mean a lot. Thanks for watching. As always, guys, on the way out, if you could do two things for me. Number one, smash the like. And number two, always remember, we are the people.